Alright, hello everybody. How are you doing today? I'm doing good, thanks for asking. Last video I started with a stretch as well. Maybe it's a good omen of a good video. Although that video didn't do too hot. Today we are playing Escape McDonald's, or I suppose tonight I should say. It's 11 o'clock. So for all you 7-year-olds out there, it's past your bedtime, okay? Go to sleep. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's just jump right into this. This is Escape McDonald's. Obby, you know, the Ronald McDonald himself and the Hamburglar and Grimace. Escape all of them and the delicious hamburger that they have conceived called the Quarter Pounder. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. There's only like two things I eat at McDonald's, and it's chicken nuggets and fries, or a Quarter Pounder and fries. And that's about it. Now here we are in this little section, which I guess is kind of a throw at being overweight because we eat McDonald's. Now I will tell you, I am not overweight in the slightest. I'm pretty sure for my height and build and age and all that good stuff, I'm like dead on. So I don't eat out all the time, and I've discussed my favorite restaurants in the past, but I don't eat out like every day. So I'm pretty set into a weight, and it never really changes very much if we're being real. And I don't really work out like every day or anything crazy like that. So yeah, pretty average, honestly. So yeah. Anyway, that was kind of just a really nothing topic. Let's be real here. So let's move into something fun. It is currently snowing right now. It's gonna be snowing like all night. And who doesn't like snow? Trick question. Me. I like snow sometimes, but not all the time. And snow's the kind of thing where, like, especially living somewhere where it snows pretty regularly. It's not very fun. It's really fun, and you see a lot of people from down, who down in hotter places, we'll put it that way, where it doesn't snow at all, come up here just for day trips to play in the snow and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, a lot of people think that's fun. I can get it as well, especially because where I used to live, there was no snow whatsoever. Like, ever. It snowed like once in my life. It was a very rare occurrence. It like shouldn't have even happened, basically. But yeah, when you're living in it, it's not that fun. Shout out to all the eastern U.S. boys out there who live in snow for like half the year. You know how much of a pain it is, honestly. So yeah, you gotta do a lot of fun stuff like shoveling your car out, shoveling wherever you live. Luckily, I don't have to deal with any of that because I live in like an apartment building essentially. So yeah, I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. So lucky me. Makes it a little easier on myself. But besides that, I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't really ever had much fun playing in snow. Like maybe once or twice I've had a bit of fun, but if we're being honest here, I don't really find it very fun to play in snow. I feel like I don't know, but I also grew up going to Glamis, if any of the 7-year-olds know where that is. um, so I for the most part grew up around sand, like just sand as far as the eye can see, more than snow. And to be honest, I find it a lot more fun to play in sand. Giant sand hills and stuff like that. I don't know why. I also haven't done that in a very long time, so maybe that won't stand the test of time either. But I guess maybe I've always just been more of a sand guy since I was a kid. Let me know in the comments. Were you a sand guy, or are you a snow guy, or girl? Okay, no gender politics here, but just how it is sometimes. So yeah, let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about where I've been. I got on a streak there of uploading really fast, if we're being real here, like every other day, which is not normal. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's pretty normal. It's not like it was bad or anything. I had fun doing it, but and then I kind of just started forgetting about it, if we're being real here. Like I actually just kind of started forgetting about making a video. So I'm about to go on a trip down to my mom's, and I was like, dang, that's gonna be like another 4 days because I'm not bringing my PC with me. So I decided to just film a video late at night. You know, I am. That's a good thing. I'm more of a night person, if anything. Put in the comments if you're a day or a night walker. Because to be honest, I feel like since I've been a kid, I've always been kind of a night person. But I feel like that's a lot of people who play video games and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like it kind of just comes with that. Used to staying up late nights, playing Call of Duty in the good old days, staying up past our bedtime for school nights and stuff like that. It's really just comes with the gig, you know what I mean? And it really just gets you remembering about those good old days, you know? I sound like I'm like 50. You know, me and the boys palling around at the Tasty Freeze all night, you know what I mean? Back in the good old days. Nah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I do. It's different in certain ways, and a lot of people talk about that. Especially, we're just gonna go to this next game, by the way, just because that was really short. It's weird because like when you get older, you long for stuff from the past, like in nostalgia and all that stuff, and that's normal. A lot of people do that, but I think a lot of people also get too engrossed in that and don't realize there's also a lot of great things about being older. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about y'all, but especially if you're 7 right now, I'm pretty sure you're probably not too into having to do everything your parents say. You know what I mean? It's pretty sick being an adult and having freedom and kind of just doing whatever you want, really. Not everything, because you're obviously limited by some stuff like money and all that, but you can really just do whatever. It's pretty rad. Also, this is absolutely huge. Yeah, we definitely aren't beating this unless this one's just gonna be really, really long. But yeah, the old saying, you can't long for the past forever. Sometimes you're gonna have to long for the future. Which, by the way, I don't know if that's even a saying. I might have just made that up, but philosopher of Chaos XL, you know what I mean? Coming out clutch with some sick bars, dropping some knowledge on you, you know. So if you haven't noticed, obviously, like I was saying, this is a lot more of a low-key episode. It's late at night, being kind of laid back and quiet and blah 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 blah. I don't know. No particular reason, really. Just, I'm not even really tired, if we're being honest. It's just kind of the mood you're in when you're at nighttime, you know what I mean? It's really, really chill, really sultry. It's like jazz radio, you know? I always make that joke. It's always a good joke, is being a jazz radio talk show host. Hello, you're listening to the goodies but the oldies. And next up we got a classic from Miles Davis coming on. Right at you to soothe your soul. You know? I've been told I'm really good at that, surprisingly. And I'd have to agree with you. If, not like to toot my own horn, but I feel like if I was good at it and I can do it, it seems kind of like a fun job. Who wouldn't want to be a radio host, you know what I mean? You just talk all night. Basically like what I'm doing now, except I'd get paid a lot more money and I'd get to listen to music, you know, like all night, which is basically just what I do anyway. Come to think about it, maybe this is an incoming career change. You know, Not gonna be a Roblox YouTuber anymore. I'm just kidding. I'll be a Roblox YouTuber forever. Or not. I don't know. I probably. That begs the question if I'll ever branch out. You know what I mean? And the answer is probably. To be honest, I don't really know. Maybe I'll play. Maybe I'll play Fighters, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. You know, my friend Mr. Wingnut. You know, he's playing that, and he's absolutely popping off right now. He's got a lot of views. I'm happy, honestly. Both him and True Pain Gaming. They're both my friends in real life, right? And they're both popping off. I'm glad. I don't know. And they also both like doing it, which is cool. I mean, I hope eventually my channel pops off like theirs. But, you know, like I said, this kind of, I guess, is as much for me as it is for you, so I don't really mind talking to like 5 people. You know? So yeah, it's nice. It's like Thanos after Infinity War. I'm just living a peaceful life as a farmer. Nobody bothers me or nothing, you know? And this is a trippy one. I think I can hop up here. Skip God. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. It's been going pretty well lately. I don't think I ain't really been doing too much crazy, you know. Just been hanging out. I just haven't been uploading because I've been having a real hoot of a time in real life, you know what I mean? All my friends got out of quarantine and everything, so we've just been playing games and stuff. Or I've just been doing homework. Basically just that, you know what I mean? So yeah. You know, I haven't really thought about playing Roblox in a very long time, that's for sure. Well, also, when I say a really long time, I mean like a week. But, you know, it's also good to do this because I guess if there is random people out there waiting for my content, I suppose I should deliver, you know? I can't just, even though I did say I wasn't going to release content like on a schedule, probably should at least give it like once a week, you know, for the people that are like foaming at the mouth for it, you know. It's a hard life out there, and I guess if I'm the way to get through it, first of all, I'd like to take down your name and number so I can greet you personally, because that's incredible. Second of all, thank you, I suppose. Keep going, champ. But yeah, other than that, you know, I'm trying to think, what is there even to talk about today? Or tonight, I should say. Let's talk about working. I haven't worked a job in a hot minute. Now, I used to work at Culver's, which is a food restaurant for those of you who live in the West. It's not a very popular thing in the West. A lot of people know of it, a lot of people don't. In the East, though, it's jumping. Like, we're busy all the time, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I worked at Culver's. I did basically everything. Like, honestly, every position in the store besides being a manager, I did. I was really good at my job. Yeah. So yeah, I cooked food. Honestly, cooking food was my favorite. I love cooking food. There, like you could put me on the fryer, right, and I would sit there, whole like 4 to 8 hour shift, and I'd just be chilling. I really loved being on fryer. But yeah, I only bring this up because literally, like right before this video, I went to get some gas before my trip, and then I took my friend to Jack in the Box, and I feel bad for the people at Jack in the Box, man. I'm telling you. I was telling him in the car, I'm like, of all the places you choose, man, you choose Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is like jumping. You know what I mean? Like this place pops past like 9 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? For a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of different people that go there that I probably shouldn't talk about in an effort to be family friendly in some capacity. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of people that go there. And it also seems like, of all the places, Jack in the Box is always understaffed. Makes me feel really bad for them. Because there's always a line of like a ton of people, and they're always understaffed. So, it feels bad for them, you know? I can feel them. Working in fast food, I can feel them. You know what I mean? Know where they're coming from. I know the struggle. So, like, yeah, for example, at Culver's, right? We would we would be slammed. I finally got fed up with it, honestly. Is like last summer was the last summer I'm probably gonna work there forever. Obviously, no bad blood or anything, but I kind of just got fed up with the whole thing because when I was working, right, it seems like I'd get on shift and there would be no breaks, like whatsoever. Like we would actually be hammered from like 2 to like 10 o'clock at night, 8 like 10 a.m. when we opened to 10 a.m. at night, right? It didn't matter what time it is. We would always be crazy busy, and it just kind of got really annoying, to be honest, because a lot of the people were rude too. They were from out of town and whatnot, and they were really rude to me. It was just, ugh, I couldn't stand it, and they wouldn't let me be in the kitchen. It was crazy. I asked to be in the kitchen, but they weren't really. Pretty sure we were understaffed up front, but yeah, I asked to be in the kitchen, and they weren't really having it. So it's quite unfortunate scenario. It honestly was just a lot of stuff adding up together. I was just finally like, man, I'm done. You know, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to, at least if they're my age and they've had a job. Unless you have the perfect job. I've heard there's some pretty crazy jobs out there that are just like you get paid to practically do nothing, and they're like perfect for like kids. You know what I mean? But I didn't really have one of those jobs. I worked with a lot of kids. I also worked with a lot of adults, like a ton of them. It was probably like a half to half ratio. And I would honestly say, funny enough, for it being a fast food job, that job was way better suited for adults, because that was like, especially in like when it was really busy, that's like high pressure, high intensity. You gotta go, 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 know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And a lot of younger people can't really do that. You know, it's not like younger people stink. No, it's just like, I don't know, a lot of younger people aren't raised a certain way, and it just doesn't work well to just keep yelling at them and telling them to do stuff. And you know, I don't know. At least that's kind of how I was raised. I mean, obviously, my parents, care for me, love me, blah blah blah. But like, obviously, if I was doing something wrong, or like I was doing something I shouldn't have been and stuff like that, throw a little smack down, throw a little hammer down. You know what I mean? Obviously, they didn't beat me or anything, but I've had a couple spankings when I was really young in my day. We'll put it that way, and that'll set you straight. You know what I mean? I don't think people are using the spank enough. I got spanked like one time on the side of a road as a kid, right? Anytime they just raise the hand and say, "You want to spank?" and I'm like, "No," and then I'd shut up. It's a very effective method, honestly. which brings a good question. Honestly, if you got spanked as a kid, do you think you have the same reaction as an adult? I feel like even though I'm an adult, I would be terrified if my dad looked at me and said, "I'm gonna spank you." I'd be like, "What? What for?" If he was that genuinely angry that he brought that up, I would be terrified. I would run. Because one, that's a really weird thing to do to adults. And two, that's just like, how angry do you have to be to tell your fully grown child that you're gonna spank them? You know? So these are the ideas we're thinking about here. It's like a think tank up in here on the channel. You know what I mean? So by the way, let's check time. We got 20 minutes on the clock. I think we might be able to beat this. Will this be, besides the Zoom and Google Meets one, because that one was just a sham. That was like barely any. That was like barely any content in those two Obbys, right? We might actually be two full baked Obbys in one video, which is pretty crazy. Maybe a first for all Roblox history. I'm gonna put that in the title, by the way. Maybe good clickbait. Maybe get some people to the channel. But anyway, just let's keep on plugging ahead. Uh, let's talk about my favorite games, and maybe I'll field some of these because maybe who knows? Maybe you want me to play them eventually. It'd be a bit weird if you wanted me to play the games I'm about to say because they have nothing to do with Roblox whatsoever. So, I grew up playing a lot of different games, but some of my favorites are As Lies, tied for first like games I can just replay anytime, anywhere, no matter what. We got BioShock, the whole series. I will play BioShock 1, 2, or Infinite anytime, anywhere, any day. Give them to me. I love those games. Next up on the list is the Prototype series, which, I've been finding out is apparently kind of a weird series because it's not that popular, which is weird to me because I feel like growing up I thought it was a lot more popular than it was, but I guess it wasn't. So yeah, Prototype 1 and 2, great games. Play those anytime. Absolute blast. But yeah, so that game, and then last but not least we have Dishonored, which is a game that's very near and dear to my heart. All right, you whiffed that. You didn't even hit a beam. Dishonored, which is a game very near and dear to my heart, which has a story behind it that I'm honestly kind of unsure if I want to even share. It's a bit embarrassing, so I just don't think I will share the Dishonored story. My friends know the Dishonored story though, so you know. But yeah, those 3 games. So if you guys ever want to see those games on the channel, I don't know, guess just ask. I'm willing to play them anytime, that's for sure, because they're incredible games. My favorite games of all time. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe I don't know. I guess I'll describe a little bit about each game for those who haven't heard. Dishonored is a game where you play as Corvo, right? And Corvo is like framed for killing his like wife slash like the Empress, right? And then the whole story is essentially you're getting powers and you have to get like revenge on all the people who wronged you and tried to like plot this conspiracy to take out the Empress and all that blah blah blah. And Dishonored is really solid. Dishonored 2 is pretty solid too, actually. I forgot to say the series on that one. I said the series for the other 2, but yeah. So it revolves around you using like essentially superpowers to go around and either like non-lethally take people out or assassinate people. It's really, really great. The story's really solid. And yeah, let's move on. let's move on to Prototype. So Prototype, this is going to be the same with BioShock, by the way, where both the games are kind of different. Dishonored 2 is basically like the same game, again, just a different story, different locations, all that. So yeah. Sorry, it's just had a bit of a lag there, real life lag. So Prototype 1 is about Alex Mercer getting infected with, I don't remember, I think they literally named it like the Mercer virus. Where he basically just gets superpowers. That's it. He just gains like a bio weapon superpower where he can kind of just turn his body into like different stuff like blades and claws and stuff like that. And that game is also about revenge, funny enough. I'm gonna have a running theme here in the games. So yeah, then it's basically you just getting revenge, killing a lot of people using the powers. It's really fun. Prototype 2, you play as James Heller, who gets infected by Alex Mercer. So a little bit of a connection there. And then Alex Mercer like takes his daughter, so you have to hunt down Alex Mercer and kill him. So that game is also about revenge. But it's basically, gameplay wise, it's basically like roughly the same, with just kind of like some quality of life changes. Both great games. So next we're moving on to Bioshock, which 1 and 2 are pretty dang similar. Bioshock 1 plays a guy, pretty sure his name is Jack, I think is what they call him, who finds Rapture, an underwater city, one of the most iconic game places in game franchise history. You know what I mean? So yeah, you go to Rapture. Also get superpowers. Funny enough, you use weapons and then you use plasmids, which are just like superpowers, like shooting lightning out of your hands or fire out of your hands or telekinesis or stuff like that. And it's you basically just trying to find out what's going on and get the heck out of Rapture. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to spoil anything about that story because that's a very good story. Story-wise, that one's like tied with like Bioshock Infinite for like I think like best story out of all these games I'm talking about, which is kind of funny because they both belong to Bioshock for like my favorite stories of the game. But yeah, so then we go to Bioshock 2 where you play as a Big Daddy who's an enemy in the Bioshock franchise, and they're like just kind of like walking tanks basically. So yeah, you play as a Big Daddy who's trying to find his little sister, who are like the main source of like what they need in Rapture, which is Eve. So like the little sisters go around and collect it, and then splicers try and kill you, like kill the little sisters and take the Eve. You know what I mean? And the Big Daddies are there to protect them. So Bioshock 2, you play as a Big Daddy trying to find his little sister, who he got like stolen from when he was like when she was like younger. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically that game. And then Infinite is completely different than both of those, essentially. Gameplay wise, it's pretty similar, but like story wise and just like mechanics wise, very, very different. So Bioshock Infinite takes you to, instead of a city underwater, get this, it's a city in the sky, Columbia. And yeah, Bioshock Infinite is pretty rad. It's got like skyhooks and stuff like that, and all the gameplay is really fun and stuff like that. So Bioshock Infinite, you're I'm not gonna explain the lore of this game, by the way, because Bioshock Infinite's really, really deep in like their lore. So I'm just gonna explain the basis of it. You play as Booker DeWitt, right? And you're like a private investigator, detective of sorts, you know? And you get hired to go to Columbia to find a girl named Elizabeth. And that's the game. You go there, floating city. It's crazy. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in that game. If I were honestly, if I were to say play any of the games out of the ones I'd say, it honestly would be Bioshock Infinite, because Bioshock Infinite is like actually just an incredible game. Like one of the best games ever made. Honestly, the story is really amazing. The gameplay is really fun. It functions really well. Like the mechanics are all good. They stand the test of time. It is a fantastic game. So yeah. Anyway, that's the games I was talking about. I didn't even realize. I mean, we're plugging away at it, but dang. After we get to the top of the stairway, I think I'm gonna call it quits, honestly, because we've been going for 30 minutes, which is it's quite long. Come to think about it, pretty sure we've already done this one too, but you know, I'm sure y'all don't mind. I'd hope. Maybe you're here for me, which would be what I'm hoping, because you know, it'd make me happy to know that you're here for me. Not for the gameplay, but if you're here for the gameplay, I don't think lesser of you, you know. So yeah, we're kind of coming up on the end of this one here. Jeez, I just didn't know this one was gonna be this long, to be honest. It's huge. But yeah, anyway, that brings us to the end of the video. Hopefully this wasn't boring. I'll come back with better material next time, hopefully. No, because it always feels like I'm blowing a stand-up set. And anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.